Hey everybody. So let's see if we can try this again. Carl Gilliard is going to log in. So we're going to get started with our guest today. I'm so excited. Yay! Okay, so let's see if it'll let me do it this time. Okay, it's saying invite friends. So let me see if I can invite you in, Mr. Gilliard. Tanya, is that you? Nope, it's not Tanya. This is crazy. It won't allow me to, oh, let me see. Carl, it is just not working. It will not allow me to, yeah, it won't allow me. It's the only person that's allowing me to invite is my niece. Let me see. It won't do it. This is crazy. It will not allow me to plug you in. Alrighty. We having all kind of technical problems. Okay. Now I see it. Oh my gosh. You had to ask to join. This is crazy. Satan is a liar. Oh my gosh. Satan is a liar. Hi, Tanya. This is crazy. Okay, yeah. Carl, you're turn it the other way. You guys are flipped upside down. Yeah, that way. And then I'm gonna move over. You guys are flipped upside down. Hey! Okay, we did it. Oh my gosh.
I gotta hold it though. I wish I could do it on I wish I could do it on my laptop. It'd be easier. I mean, not my laptop, but my desktop.
Is that what you're doing now?
No, I'm with the phone.
No, this is the phone.
I can see you both. It's up to you though.
No, it's cool.
It's fine.
It's good. It wasn't working on the desktop.
Oh, okay. So we know now.
This
All
is the
right,
phone.
So
This is my phone.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay.
You know, if it was on my end, I can invite myself.
Gilliard's on the show. I'm so excited. How are you?
Good.
Both of you.
Good, girl.
Just, you know.
I'm cool when she's here. I don't have much to say. I'm quiet. I'm shy.
Oh no, we got a full show. We have a full as my camera falls. We have a full show. So much stuff I want you to share with my viewers tonight. So before we get started, hello everybody. Welcome to Marriage and the Single Lady. We're starting a half hour earlier, so a lot of you are going to probably join us at 5 o'clock or watch this broadcast a little bit later. But I want to welcome you to our show. Again, we're starting up with workshop series number 3. This is the very first class. It's an interview with a married couple. And of course, I've been promoting them all week. So they're here today. I'm excited. Yay! So, again, just some housekeeping notes for everybody. Again, we're on YouTube, so you want to make sure that you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell your friends, family. We upload the videos from here, the interviews, everything to our YouTube channel, so you can email them, share them with your friends, etc. They can ask questions, and we'll get back to them as soon as possible. So anything that they want to ask us in the comment section. Anything that you want to ask us, you're more than welcome to answer them in the comment section. Also, we uploaded all of the topics that we're going to cover for this particular 12-week series, and you can go and look at those. And if you have any questions or any concerns or any suggestions, we're so open because, again, we're here to help you. So before we get started, we want to start with a word of prayer. Then we're going to just jump right into our interview session. Okay, so Mr. Gilliard, do you want to open this up in prayer?
Oh, sure. Heavenly Father, we did thank you for this time of fellowship and this time of revelation, Lord, and hoping that someone who's ever hearing or seeing this broadcast later or right now live, that they be blessed by it and edified, and having their hearts turned and being more open to the covenant of marriage. We love you, Father God, and we thank you for Zondra and her ministry and what she's doing here on marriage and the single lady. In Jesus' name we pray. Anoint this session. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, before we get started, I want to read obviously one of my favorite scriptures from Genesis 2. And we're going to jump right into
2:18.
Genesis 2. We're going to begin at my glasses. We're going to begin at actually the second portion of verse 20. So this is Genesis 2, the second half of verse 20. It starts by saying, "But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, 'This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman.' Excuse me. For she was taken out of man. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. The man and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame." So I just wanted to read this particular verse and just kind of let you guys know. Well, you already know. I don't have to let you know anything. You already know God's word and what it says about marriage. So before we begin, I want, Carl, we know a little bit about your background. So if you can just kind of bring us up to date, just tell us a little bit about how you got to, this is your, LaTonya, is your third marriage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how did you get here and why is this one a keeper? And then LaTonya, the same thing.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier, and I can isolate a lot of different aspects about my own personal choices and why I made them. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I was not operating in my purpose fully. Was how do I say, a bit immature about the way I made my choices, and instead of approaching the ladies that I approached with the fullness of my purpose and allowing them to respond to that, I would kowtow and compromise to please them. And that's just not the way to do it. So especially with the kind of specialized thing that I do. So why is she the one? Well, because she said yes to who I was. And I loved her. And I was turned on by her. And she's sexy as hell.
No, that's all right.
But that's not alone. As I say all the time when I do video blogs, pretty is not a commodity. It's not something that you should say yes to for your life. Something you can maybe have fun with and date and have a conversation. But, she said yes and seemed very much on board with what I was doing with my life, no matter what the outcomes. She saw only the best outcome for it. And so she jumped on board. And of course, I would have been a fool to not do that. So I don't know how clear I was. Was I clear when I?
No, it was very clear.
Okay. Yeah.
I understood. Okay.
Well,
Miss LaTonya.
Yeah, this is number 3 for me also. The first one, I was just too young, 20 years old. I didn't even know who I was. But I guess it's just being mature finally, understanding who I was and what I wanted with my life. I stopped, should I say, being quiet. A lot of times we as women, we'll be quiet.
What? Keep going. I'm gonna find a way to share this to my page, and I just know how I can do it. I'm gonna get my iPad. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Miss Tanya.
We'll tend to just be quiet and let things happen or let things go the way we feel like they should go, just because you're married. And that just, as much as we want it to work, it just never works, because we have to be appreciated just as much as they do. And
right.
Yeah, and I went through a situation where I really just grew up, and I was just like, wow, I know what I want now, finally, not just doing what I.
So what did it, LaTonya, let me stop you right there. What was that moment, or what had happened in that moment when you said, man, I grew up? Because a lot of people don't know, like, when they grow up. You know what I'm saying? So what incident, or where were you at in your life when you said, okay, I grew up, or I need to grow up?
I connected. I finally learned how to listen to my insides, which is I call the God voice. All of us women, we have a strong intuition because of the way God made us. So I finally listened. That's really pretty much in a nutshell. I listened because I didn't have any doubts. I didn't have any question. I didn't have any concern. It was just like, okay, yeah, this is right. I wasn't going like, God, I just want this, make sure this is you. I want to make sure this is right. I didn't have any of that.
Right. That's what so it's wrong when we do that.
Yes, we do. When you think long, you think wrong. So, and I didn't have any of it. And I just knew.
You just knew.
It's a knowing.
So with your first 2 marriages, so did you do that with your first 2 marriages? Or
no,
you were
girl.
unsure?
I got signals. I got high fives. I got a football kick. I got everything.
Sound like me. Now you sound like me, Tom.
Just ignored it. Just overruled it, for whatever reason.
Right.
Well, I come this far and all these people are here and, well, it'll work. And, things have changed for the better. And all those excuses we give ourselves and then blame God for it.
Blame God, blame the
now,
devil, blame everybody but yourself.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so true. It's like, you're like, well, it's just, and it's all of these, and that's the one thing that I've learned myself is that, like you said, that inner voice, we know, but we want what we want. And so we justify this man that we want.
Yeah.
And then we look at, like for me, what he looks like, what he drives. I didn't know that those were stupid things to look for in a man.
I don't, let me stop you with that. Let me stop you on that, because I'm not so sure that they're stupid. Okay. I just think that it can be out of balance. I think that it's okay to want a man who you think can provide for you, because God made you that way. That's not the issue.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the issue. I think the issue is that when women look at just those things, and they don't look at the other things, and also
that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is those things weighed more than the other things.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
When I looked at a guy, it wasn't about like the first thing we should ask is spiritual. If I'm a Christian, the very first thing is about his relationship with God. Nothing else matters. He could have every single thing on our list. 6'4", buff, $1 billion, even treating me good, and or whatever. But if he's not saved, if he doesn't have God, you know what I'm saying? Even though there's some relationships where people have said, well, this person, I've married someone that wasn't necessarily saved, but I'm going by, I can only speak for Zondra. I didn't look at, though, it was very superficial. Whereas I had it flipped upside down. Satan, you know how when sin came into the world, Satan flipped everything upside down. So when we're looking at how the world chooses, it's like if he's not this, this, and this, if he loves God, is at the bottom of the list. And then if he's not, if we don't know the spirit for ourselves, then how can we then pick a man that's over us? And we take for granted the men that we choose because he's our overseer. God sees us as one, which is why I read that scripture. God sees us as one.
Yes, that's true.
And it's how we're choosing. That's all. It's, of course he can love the Lord, but if he doesn't work, if he's not, so then it's like, you can love God, but you still need to work on some stuff.
Right.
Because we know that just because you love God doesn't mean that you're still not living,
right.
Still struggling.
No offense, but being someone who's been in the church for much of my adult life,
right?
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to be kind. I know some women in the church, and because I've never dated men, I'm talking about women, okay? Who I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
And it's not because they aren't nice people. It's just because they're just out of balance. It's because they can stand up and scream and speak in tongues and talk with all the platitudes of being in love with the Lord and Holy Spirit filled, but can't treat you like anything that's worthwhile. They treat you like crap. And I see that so much. And a lot of holier than thou materialism that's coupled with a higher spiritual calling. So therefore, because I am this is why I have that. And if you don't have that, then you must not be spirit-filled like me. It's a lot of that in the church. And a lot of that.
What percentage would you say? What percentage would you say?
Oh, I don't know.
You say a high.
Well, there's a lot of it. I wouldn't say that it's mostly that, but I'd say that there's probably more of it than you would want to admit. But I don't say it's majority, but it's a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? It's so funny, though, that you should say that, because I think back, and I don't know why this just popped into my memory. My grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, had 14 kids. And yeah, but it was such a tight family. And he took care of all of them just wonderfully. My grandmother set the foundation for everybody for church, but my grandfather never went. He never went. My mama used to tell me, it just came back to me now you say that, she said he would have all of their shoes lined up at the door, polished and clean, made sure everybody ate and had breakfast and stuff, and left and went with the mama. And I said, well, what did grandma do? She said nothing. It was just what we just expect. Papa never went to church. And I never asked any more about it. But they were married and happy until the day my grandmother died. They were together forever. And just raising those kids. And all of my family to this day, we talk all the time. They have had nothing negative to say about. My grandfather was like my father to me. So you know what? That's a big question, because, you know, I don't want us as women to get so caught up in the fact that a man loves God, because here's the thing. If you're not tied in and connected to God yourself in relationship, you can be fooled very easily by somebody who knows you're just so into church and appearances of church that they can play that game.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you for a fact, I know lots of guys in the church, and I don't, you know,
they do it on
who actually do that. And you know, I've been, and look, I'm kind of veering off a bit about sex, for example, and this is just another example of it. I know guys, a lot of them, who are Holy Spirit filled in church every single week, raising their hands up, but boy, will sex you up and down tomorrow night. Say what?
Are they really Holy Ghost filled though?
Well, I'm not. It's not for me to say.
Of course they are.
Okay.
I'm just saying to you
that
you know, and I'm not to disrespect nobody. I'm just saying that a lot of these guys, you know, because women tell me all the time that, you know, they won't be celibate, they won't allow that process to happen. A lot of men won't do it. Okay, so but that's the church. You know, and we know. So
here's the thing.
I don't want to try to minimize that, but that's something that's very real.
But it's real because of a way a man is made. Okay, it's like in my book. It's the first chapter in my book explains how a man is made, all the way down to his DNA, that testosterone, child. I don't care if you're in church. I don't care if you're a pastor, married. It doesn't matter. That testosterone coursing through their veins makes them who they are. It makes them the protectors. It makes them the providers. It makes them be a man that they are. It makes them masculine, okay? And a man has to have some serious discipline, married, unmarried, godly or ungodly, to stick with one woman in truth, being infidelity, it has to be. And so, I mean, it's the same for women too. Nowadays, women are just like owning all this stuff, and they can go out and cheat too. It doesn't matter who it is. It's who you are in your integrity, and what's more important, what you value, where you place your value when it comes to that. So this is where the wisdom for a woman comes in. You have to really be tuned in and tapped on and connected every day to God.
Yeah.
You can't just, let a day go by without starting your morning in connection, because you'll be tossed to and fro with not listening. You know what I mean? Because I believe we're always divinely guided. But
absolutely.
Sometimes we just ain't not listening. We're not listening.
Exactly. And it's interesting that you would bring that up, because I think of Joseph. Now, the reason why some scholars believe that Joseph stayed chaste or pure, because he had never had sex before. When Potiphar's wife came after him, he was able to run out, and he had never had sex before. Whereas you have David and all these other ones, Solomon. When you start having sex, it's very difficult. And just speaking for myself,
back in those days, they didn't date for like 2 years.
It's difficult when you have sex to stop having. And for me, it's been a long time. I have no problem. It's been almost 20 years, and I used to be embarrassed by that. 2-0.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I used to be embarrassed to even tell people that. But I made a vow. I promised God, because that's what got me into the relationship with my husband. I was having premarital sex. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know, because I wasn't taught that when you start having sex, you start thinking, you're not thinking straight. Your body changes. Because before, when I dated guys, when it didn't work out, bye. I was hurt, but I got over it.
Yeah.
When I started having sex, when I had sex with God, I could not let go. And I didn't know what that was. No one told me that. I learned that way later. Because I'm like, why can't I let, So what I did when I started studying scripture and was taught properly, I said, Lord, and it was hard. If one of my friends from Detroit, her name is Stancy Adams, and she's an older lady. I remember my body was just, horny. And I remember saying, if I just call him and then, have sex and then send him home, and I lie about it, because I'm like, I know he's going to probably tell somebody. My body was just, but I remember calling her, and the Spirit was like, call her. So I just called her, and I told her, and she was like, honey, I can't help you with that, but what we can do is pray. Because the last thing you want to do is pray when your body is desiring.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I understand why we need to be virgins before you get married. Because it is like, I literally went through withdrawals. I've never, I don't know what it's like being on drugs or anything like that. But I do know what it's like with my body. So it took a long, long time for that. But what I did is I said, God, if you get me out of this, so I just stayed to myself for a long time, to where I was strong enough. And it's still, being very honest with you, it is still very, very difficult, because when you get into a relationship, remember, it's been a long time. My body still reacts.
Of course.
Well, it is like you can say all day long, Jesus and prayer, but you have to set up boundaries.
Yeah, you were married before, right? You were married.
Yes. Uh-huh. So, I married. That's why I married him. Yeah. If I wasn't having sex with him, I wouldn't have married him. I would not have. That's the truth.
But you know what?
Anyway, I digress.
I don't know if you know that or not, because there's some people who were virgins when they got married and then realized that the sex is very much overrated, and
yeah, but I would have stuck it out. I would have stuck it out with him if he were, because I'm the type, which is why I believe God has me teach it. You guys just don't even know how supernatural it is for me to even be teaching this particular class. Because I was the ultimate rebellious, and I'm still, the Lord is still working on my heart with that, because I'm not the sister that, like I said, it's been 20 years and I've been hit on and asked out, but I'm like, Lord, it's like what you said, Tanya, this is just overrated. And I agree, the sex was overrated, but I only had the one partner, so I don't know what the next brother might bring to the table. I'm not stupid, but because I have girlfriends that say, oh, girl, you ain't had the right one yet, or whatever.
But do you think because you've been trying to be chaste for so long, that when you get close to the right one and those feelings come up, that you push it down, that you might have pushed the right one away already?
It comes up with anybody. It's not with the right one. It's just the male. My body is desiring sex.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
and that's normal. That's natural. But here's the thing.
It wasn't desiring sex before I started having sex.
But no, I'm just telling you. When you let yourself get to know the right one, it's like you've done a good job of, you know, pushing that aside. I don't know how the men react. I don't know what you have to deal with when it comes to that. And you're trying to decide, but it's just like, if they really wanted to take it further and they realize that they're not going to get any intimacy from you until there's a commitment there, they'll probably do that. But you got to understand also, a man is a man is a man.
Oh, yes.
And if he's not getting it from you, he may be getting it from somewhere else, which is good for you to know, though, because that means like, okay, well, no, you're not the
well,
one.
Can I enter?
And let me just say this. Let me answer Tanya, then Carl, you can jump in. Tanya, this is the way, when going through my prayer with the Lord and having him minister to my heart. If he loves me enough, this is why I'm going through all of this, so I can be, and first of all, I'm real, and I want to be an amazing wife. When I was married the first time, I had I just chose the wrong person. I just chose the wrong man. Mm-hmm. And he tried to come back. But no, once I got out of that, I decided, and then he was the wrong person for me anyway. He just was not the man that God had for me. So I made a vow. I said, Lord, the next man you bring into my life, make sure it's my husband, or just keep me away. But to stay and chase is because I love God and I want to be, to do what the scripture says. If the scripture says that's what we're supposed to do, I'm going to do it. It is hard. I mean, I am not Superwoman, and people sometimes think that I'm Superwoman. No, I put boundaries up. It is very difficult. It comes through in my dreams. It comes through when I'm on set. I have women praying for me. I'm like, Lord, I'm on set. This guy is playing my husband, blah, blah, blah. So just set up boundaries. And God is so amazing that it's up to me to make the decision. So if it's a brother who I know that's not saved, fine, we're in Hollywood. I'm like, nope, this ain't the one. So I won't even allow that boundary to even be broken. Meaning, he's not necessarily trying to get with me, but he may say, let's hang out and do blah, 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 or let's do it. I'm like, because it's not even him. It's me, is what I'm saying. It is me. He may not, be interested at all, but it's like my body or me reacting to that and being real with it. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, I can handle it, blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm being very honest with, I know how my body went before I started having sex, and then after I started having sex. And even after 20 years, it's 19, well, close enough, that it's still there. And that's why I teach people and tell people, like, I want to do it God's way. That means I die this way, then I'm fine. I'm fine dying, chasing, if I never marry again. Because that's what I had said I would do when I found out really what goes into marriage. When I found out, like, Carl, you upload this video with the lady that had the baby, the biracial baby. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What God
that's how it's supposed to be done. That's how it's supposed to be done.
But when God just showed me,
and it was by a black guy or biracial.
It was. I think he was Mexican. But here's the point. Here's the point. Why I've been doing these videos about, not just about the Meisners, but also just in general, what I've learned about divorce, and this includes even yours, even though I wasn't there, in yours, and I just think that the whole attitude about marriage is distorted, even from a biblical perspective, because even when you look at the whole thing about dating now, well, people are trying to date, for a year, 2 years, and chase, and stay celibate and all that. That wasn't the design. Back in the day when the Bible was written, people got married. They didn't date. They didn't go through all of this stuff. They just got married.
Yeah.
And so now, you're basically trying to, date for a year and a half, and then you want to divorce that person, and you've been having sex, and you want to marry somebody else, and you want to trade up. I mean, this is silly. And this is happening in the church. So marriage is really about a commitment to the covenant, not about all these things that we make it. That's why
not to
necessarily so much.
Person, it's to the marriage vow. It's the covenant.
It's the covenant. It's not the person.
Marriage itself is perfect.
I mean, we actually have better than.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I would look at him, and God is like, why are you looking at him? It's me. And I had a hard time, and I still have to admit, I struggle with that. And, I'm in all kind of classes, y'all. I'm like the AA person, where I'm in like 2 and 3 marriage classes in addition to teaching, because the information is so amazing and so potent. And then just understand, like, God really, no matter what he does, no matter what this guy does, Zondra, it's about me. I got you.
Right.
I got you, and I have to trust that he has me, regardless of what, because it's not about the person. Our feelings get involved. It's my feelings, but God is like, okay, because of sin.
Right.
Because of sin and our feelings and what we want. And then in my case, I just chose the person that God was not first in his life. So this is what you get when you choose a man that God is not first. Because when God is first, and when you're studying scripture and you're trying to live for God, you automatically are going to do right. And just using the chase that I've gone through.
That's not always true, though. That's not always true. See, that's kind of the point.
Say that again. As far as what part?
If you are a Christian and you're saved, you want to do right. I mean, I guess, but I just.
You're saying as a Christian you don't want to do right?
I'm just telling you.
No, he didn't say that.
No, what did you say?
Oh, okay. Wait, let me.
I think he's trying to say that in a lot of cases, the men that you're going to run into, or the men that you're going to attract, are going to mirror you in a way that you don't even realize what you're dealing with in yourself. Put it to you this way. Okay, what are you doing in your career right now?
I run a skincare company, and then I act. So my main, they're probably equal now, but I run an organic skincare company. Okay.
Have you ever been asked out and started to maybe date a guy who's really has his own business, and he's really focused and into that business?
LaTonya, I have just now starting to let guys even ask me out. I'm literally this past week, about 2 weeks ago, when I went home to Cleveland, one of my friends, and I'm surprised she's not on here, she was telling me it was this guy from church and it's her church, it's not even my church, because I visit different churches. And she was like, he was asking about you, he's interested in you, blah, 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 blah. So I saw him this past Sunday, and he was just like, where you been? He doesn't, and I know why. I want to say I'm not the friendliest person, meaning I don't come across, because I'm from the Midwest. In the Midwest, we're more touchy-feely, huggy. Out here, if you do that, then they think you want them. Mm-hmm. If somebody's birthday, what I used to do was, okay, let's say if it was Carl, it was your birthday, right? I would do, knowing that you're married, I'll give the cake to Tanya. Like, this is for Carl's birthday. Out here, people think you want and I get it, because there's so many people sleeping around in the industry. Yeah. I wasn't used to that back in the Midwest, where I could do that, and she didn't think that it was anything between, me and you, Carl. Like, mm-hmm. You wouldn't think that it was anything. You would think that it would be innocent. So out here, what I did is I put up like a shell, like, okay, Lord, if this isn't it, like, the brother's going to have to kick through to actually get through to me. So what I'll do is, some guys will come by and say, why don't you smile? So I'll smile. And a lot of it is busyness. Because running my company and then going to, like today, going to auditions and preparing for this and doing that, God came to me and has been dealing with me like, Zondra, I have to relax, mm-hmm. And you have to, the main thing I had to do was to be able to hear his voice, so I wouldn't get duped again. Because my thing was like, how did I get duped or get into this situation? And so what I'm learning,
that was 20 years ago, Zondra.
Yeah,
that was 20 years
ago.
But
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So when I started, in order for me to know that, I had to go through, I had to get to know me, like what you guys said. I had to understand why I made the choices that I made. Why did I make this choice?
Right.
And so I had to deal with that, because it all came back to me. It had nothing to do with my ex-husband. It had everything to do with me, because I knew who he was. I still chose to marry him.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was going to be as bad. I didn't think that it was going to be this. And then afterwards, it was like a tornado. So I had to first come to grips with that. The hardest thing is to look in the mirror and to say, okay, Zondra, he didn't put a gun to your head. you know, and he had these qualities or these traits. You knew about it. So why did you stay? Forget about what he did. Why did you stay? Mm-hmm. And so I had to go and do some soul searching. So within saying that, once I did that, and that took me a while to even do that, because I was blaming him for the like first 5 years.
But see, that's you see, for the lack of a better term, that's the immaturity of it.
Hey, Shug.
That's the immaturity of it, where you blame the other person for everything.
Yes.
And you don't own anything.
Yes.
And those are the people who don't find relationships, or they keep doubling into bad ones. You have to own your part.
Your part.
And you have to also, but then once you get to that point and you're walking in it, I can't speak for a woman, before a guy, it becomes easy. I mean, literally, it becomes easy.
You know why? Because there's a part of you, 20 years, girl, let me tell you something. That's way too long. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you have got to stop punishing yourself for a bad decision.
I've heard that before, too. And
not only that, but living out that punishment through the way you choose the guys, and punishing the guys, too, that come into your space.
Yeah.
Keeping, you know what I'm saying, by being distant or busy or whatever. When I remember, I used to always say the whole thing about very busy people. That's you, that's me.
Yeah.
Is you have to leave room in your life for this part of it.
Yeah.
You know, for you to leave, almost like, you know, like for example, if you want to date on a Saturday night, start being at home on Saturday, even if you don't have a date. Just chill like you ain't doing nothing on Saturday night. Even when you don't have a date. Just don't start teaching your mind and not be busy.
That's gonna be hard.
Well, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
And see, the dating is dating. The game has not changed, and it's never gonna change. So you have to realize that if you want somebody to get to know you and you get to know them, you're going to have to start somewhere. And that's with the date. Now, if you keep running that same tape, playing that same story over and over, oh, my body wants this, my body wants that, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's time for you to start telling a different story. We know that's not.
No, that's just biological, Tanya. I'm not.
But I know that. That's what. But you act like you're a freaking Martian. That's everybody.
I'm not.
That's everybody. That's not just you. That's everybody.
Oh, God.
But you gotta stop focusing on that. You gotta focus on being approachable. And you got to focus on being who you are. You got to be open and find somebody, allow somebody to get to know you, and you get to know them, and they are comfortable.
I agree.
They are comfortable with you being who you are. And you are comfortable with them being who they are. And I'm going to tell you, once we've reached this age and been married before, the games are over. It does not take a long time to know that you've got that connection with somebody. But if you throw up first, okay, well, he got to be connected to God. No, I ain't going with all. If you throw that up first, let me tell you something. Sometimes you'll lose a good gift or a man who's been looking for you, because you never know. This man might have been in church and been hurt before, but he still has a heart for God. He still knows how to treat a woman of God. He may not go to church. He may not, you could be the one that changes that. No, seriously. You could be the one that ends up changing that. But no, you got to allow him to be who he is. But you're so busy putting up these prerequisites about what he's supposed to be. See, we justify him being a man of God first, because it sounds good and it's what we're supposed to do. Why would God send me somebody that's not a man of God if I'm a woman of God? How do you know he's not a man of God? Just because he doesn't go to
church?
That's
what I just said. That's what I said. He would need to be a man of God.
But what makes a man of God?
I know that from his conversation, talking to him and his
pattern. So how you gonna
I go by pattern. I was a news
reporter.
So I go by. That's when I get to know him.
Okay, so
that's when I'll get to know from talking. And then the spirit. And another thing with this, Tanya, the spirit. The Spirit would tell me now with me, I agree. I know I have, this is all new to me. I'll say within the last year. Yeah, last year is when I said, okay, Lord, I just surrendered. I'll just say that. And said, okay, I'll start studying. I'll start doing this, and I'll allow this space, open this space to allow whom you have for me. Because all God is going to do is present it to me. He can't force me to get married or force me to be with anybody. So you guys are exactly right when saying that. My thing is that I want to make sure that I have, because it's not even about him, Tanya. It's about me. I know I'm the problem.
See,
I know that I'm the one that has to.
There you go.
No, because it's the truth. No,
stop.
It's the truth, Tanya.
Stop. If you keep saying that you know you're the problem, who wants to get involved with a problem?
It's the truth.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Pray for me, then.
See, that's why.
Throw some holy. When I know that I have certain things that God has to work out of me. Certain things, I've come like maybe 80% of the way.
Let me tell you something.
No,
if it's going to take 20 years for God to work something out of you, it's never going to happen.
That was just the sex part.
It's never going to happen.
Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, Zondra, let me tell you something. You know, I'm a bad mofo. You know, I got lots of talents. I'm a gifted, smart dude. But I got a lot of flaws. If I waited for God to make me ready, I'd be single right now, just chasing up and down Sherman Way.
Right, Tanya accepted you for your, this is what I'm saying. Tanya accepted you, flaws and all. You accepted her flaws.
That's the point.
All, right?
That's the point.
There's certain things, though. What I'm saying
what are those things? What are those things? What are those things?
I have to want to try. I have to want to, like, for instance, this is the one thing that I was just still struggling about was my business. And understanding that a marriage it's one. So it's not like these prenups. I have like, Lord, I can't do, prenups are wrong. But it's to be real with it. I have to be like, Lord, there cannot be, I can say it sounds good, but when I get married again, I'm not going to do a prenup.
Okay.
But that's hard. I'm saying it with my mouth, but my heart.
You shouldn't even be thinking about a prenup when you first meet somebody. Don't nobody think about that.
Wait, okay, now let me.
No. That's your problem. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's your 20-year problem. Number one, you gotta be open.
Maybe it's selfishness.
You gotta be open. Why are you starting you put yourself through a freaking ringer every time somebody probably asks you out? You are shutting your own doors.
I actually picked up something you said that you didn't pick up, so I can tell by the way you dealt with that. I picked up something else. Yeah. Okay, so basically, and this is something that is I call it the successful woman's curse.
Yes.
You want to hear what it is?
Okay.
Yeah.
Your success.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're not so much afraid about the prenup about him. You're afraid about losing what you've earned.
Exactly. There you go. That's why I asked you earlier.
That's what it is.
That's
and I'm gonna
why
tell you
I
something.
asked you earlier.
I'm gonna tell you something. No, let me get this because I know this well.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. I always tell women all the time.
Don't y'all have a video? I mean, a movie premiere to go to?
I always tell women all the time. Successful women tell me, and that look. There's nothing wrong. Listen, Zondra, it's
you're right.
On the one end,
Carl, you're right.
It's very natural to have that, but marriage is not about that. I always tell women all the time, and you know what? I told my second wife this, and she got all this stuff by herself. If you want to keep your stuff and stay single. There's no crime in that. But marriage has got nothing to do with your stuff. Except for the fact that you marry that person is now his stuff.
Right. You're right.
I don't care what he's got. So what happens is that women try to find guys who has more than what they have, but you still have the same problem.
Carl. I had to learn that because so many, a lot of the Christians that I hung with and a lot of some of the teaching was that get a prenup. Get a prenup. And I'm like, well, but I know that's wrong. You know, I know that is wrong, but that's why I went on my own journey to seek out God's truth. And it is exactly what you said. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing. If I get $1 billion tomorrow, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with God. I'm focused on, like you said, stuff and things instead of just looking to God. We've been studying from this book, Marriage on the Rock by Jimmy Evans. And this book, oh my Lord, if you go through this book, it'll give you a heart attack. He talks about that stuff. Oh, it's deep. And even like the video you uploaded with the lady that got pregnant. These people were in ministry heavy, but her husband was like, I'm taking this son in. I'm like, and I went on YouTube to read the comments. Oh, Lord. I'm like, God, can I do that? You know, it sounds good, but when your mate of 17 years cheats and gets pregnant, he had a vasectomy by whoever.
Yeah.
And then to raise this child, he said, that's my son. Now, Carl, can you do that?
I didn't say I could. But it looks, you know what?
Isn't that a part of marriage, though?
Carl,
answer me. Isn't that a part of marriage?
Yes, it is. That's why I shared the video. I gave you the video.
That's all I'm saying.
But I'm simply saying.
No. Listen, don't get it twisted. That might be a part of marriage, but if your spouse steps out and comes in with a baby and you can't handle that, God ain't gonna kick you for wanting to get out of that. What makes you think somebody's gonna?
But that's something different. What she's talking about.
You say yes, it is a part of marriage. But if you know in your mind that you can't you can't handle it, you gonna mistreat that child. You ain't gonna be able to forgive. Oh no, it's best that you step. I'm sorry, I'm not one of these people that believe you stay.
But is that God's best? My thing is that God's best?
Now, let me answer that question.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
God's best. God's best is the truth of you.
Okay, let me answer that question. Now, this is what
you know what you
T and I
we
may differ on this part.
Yes, we do.
Okay, here we go.
Yes,
here we go.
Okay. Let me tell everybody what we're talking about. Guys, Carl, let me tell everybody what we're talking about. Carl uploaded a video to a couple of days ago. Yeah. Go and look at the video. It's an amazing testimony of two people that were in ministry and they had some issues and how they dealt with it. So that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So here's the deal. You asked me, could I do that? I don't know if I could, but maybe I could. I'm not, listen, maybe I could do it. The reason why I shared that video is to show you what the potential for the power of God is when you place your faith in Him. That's the reason why.
Right. It is what exactly.
Okay, so,
exactly.
And I think that my wife is right about one thing, which is if you know that you can't handle that, you need to escape. But the other side of that coin is that we as human beings have the ability with God to do mighty powerful things. Mm-hmm. And just because we feel we can't do it doesn't mean
that's what I'm talking about. That's where I
think we differ is that I believe that we have devolved into a mentality, especially in Western culture, that whatever we feel, then we should be doing it. Mm-hmm. That's not true. That's not supernatural thinking, and that's not what you need in marriage. Right. That's the point. That's why I shared that video. Yes. You asked me, could I do it? Well, I'm looking from the outside and thinking, But we don't know what I can handle. There are things I'm doing now. I mean, look, I'm a professional actor. I'm almost 60 years old, and I've got 83 credits on IMDb, but I've never had a series. To me, in my mind, that's really deplorable. And I should be much further along. Now, I'm thinking negativity, but the point is that's how I feel. Mm-hmm. But I really believe that God has something for me there. Why can I do that? I should be giving up. I should quit. Shouldn't I?
Right.
But I'm not.
But
so you're asking me what would I do in that situation? I believe that people do what they want 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And people decide to divorce, which is why I said in the comments of that video, people decide to divorce because they want it, but they want to blame the other person. When in fact, you chose a divorce. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you choose a divorce.
That's what I was going to say.
Sometimes you choose a divorce over stuff that you knew going in that they had.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway.
Exactly. I agree.
I don't even
and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But I don't want to go into
because going back to one of the things we bring up, Tanya, one of the things that this is what God has shown me and the things that I've learned in all of the classes that I've been in and under the different ministers and teachers. Carl, you're exactly right. And Carl, how long have we been talking about that? Oh my Lord, years. Lord, because remember I just had to email you and say, okay, Carl, you're right. I forget what it was, but I'm like, the Lord finally got to us. And yeah, you're right. Yeah. But it goes back. Life is about choices and decisions. Right. People are people.
And how you
are humans.
too.
People make mistakes.
Yeah.
This lady in this video, they explained how she wouldn't speak up. And he said they hadn't prayed together. Things happen. Things happen. So I saw how they end up getting disconnected and how this man came along and she got off track. I get it. But she said at the end of the day, she loved her husband and she wanted her family. Now, he could have said,
Yes, he had the
I'm not about to, but
he did.
Right. They went to counseling. So he made the choice because it's not about her cheating. It's not, and that's the part where we all, including me, it has nothing to do with what the other person does.
Right.
It's not about, that's what I've learned. It's not about him. Lord, what do you want me to do? It's not about my feelings. And that's the part where it's hard if we're being honest with it. So when you're going into marriage, and God even said he hates divorce, it's because the hardening of our hearts is the reason why he said give him a divorce.
Exactly, that's correct.
He going out making 20 kids, or of course, by natural, if you're naturally looking at that, which who's not? That's why it's like, wow.
Exactly.
But see, who's
not going to look at that?
But see, here's the thing that I'm saying. That's a crazy circumstance right there. There's a lot of people who don't know that how they'll react in that situation until they are in that situation.
Yes,
where a child comes in. Girl, let me tell you, people have a hard time just being a step parent, blending families, and they're supposed to accept these kids. Not out of infidelity. These are just part of they come with the. They have a hard time doing that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know yourself and who and what you're gonna be able to forgive. Who you're gonna be able to love. You see, some people are just selfish and they can't love somebody else's kid. Some people are have crazy issues and circumstances. You see, that's getting away from the point when it comes to what we're talking to you and most other single women, because that's in a marriage. But when it comes to single women who aren't joined to anybody yet, or who already been married and now they're divorced, what you have to realize is that sometimes when you take responsibility for your actions on your part of whatever ruined the relationship, you accept it, your responsibility, you look at yourself, and then you have to move on.
And forgive, too.
And you have to forgive yourself. First of all. Now, but when you come this time with somebody else, you come together to build something.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, if you, like Carl said, if you're the type of person and your business and your success is so paramount in your life that it's overshadowing you getting to know and taking the time to get to know somebody without all these prerequisites first, you will forever remain single. Because number one, you got to know how the mind of a man thinks. Okay? If he takes you out on a simple, innocent dinner and you pummel him with all these questions about how you going to treat somebody, are you a man of God, you go to church and all this stuff, you might get some answers, of course, but you might also, he's looking at you and thinking, is she going to be forever judging me on these types of questions? You know, maybe like I say, if he was the type of person that's went to church, got hurt or didn't whatever, and for now, you know, he's not going. He may have his own reasons for not going, but he could still be a man of God because you could tell by the way he treats you and respects you. And I don't care how, if a man really respects you and knows that he wants more than just a one-night stand, he'll, he just might tell you that and say, you know what, I want a little bit more than this. What about you? It might shock the crap out of you, but that's going to be the truth because men don't normally do that. But you got to give him a chance to say that. You got to give him a chance to see if you're the one that he can let the wall down with. Because
I agree.
If you start asking him all of these questions right away, the wall is up. the wall is up. And
now let me ask you this. Why is the wall up, Carl? Because if you ask me, maybe it's how men and women think. If you could ask, the guy could ask me a gazillion questions and I'll answer all of them.
Well,
unless it's super personal, then I'll say, well, that's something we could talk about later.
I don't mind a woman asking questions. It's how she asks them.
Yeah.
But it's also combined with other behavior. Okay, in terms of how
give me an example.
I don't know. It's okay. Okay. I don't really need a woman to pursue me. I did need a woman to pursue me, but I had to see definitely that she's interested in who I was, and she took an interest. Almost, you know what I said? A phrase I coined up. I'm gonna wife this question. But after my second divorce, I said, you know what? I am not gonna deal with any woman unless she sees me as one step below Jesus. You know what I mean by that? I mean that literally is not worship, but it feels like it. Like she's almost like I'm the Beatles in 1964. That woman. She just she looks at me and just admires what I'm doing. To the point where
what's wrong with that?
That's great. I'm saying that is what I'm telling you. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm telling you that's what I was looking for.
He's answering your question.
The way I was with my big mouth and my, and my career that seems up and down, and whatever, how I am as a person, they just, oh my God, I love this guy. I just want to serve him. I just want to be with him. I just want to help him. I know that with me, that he's going to be the next whatever. But it's with my help that he's going to do that. Rather than her wanting me to get on her train, me wanting her to help her. It's good. In the past, I was like, oh, you know what? She's a nice looking woman. She's attractive. I'm turned on by her. I know she'll like me if I show her. No. If what I'm showing her.
Yeah, but you're the head, so she's a help meet. She's
right,
to help you.
But I had that backwards, and that doesn't
Gotcha.
work. You're right.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's why I tell women all the time. I said, look, you need to find you a man whose dream and whose aspirations and whose life that you connect to first.
Right.
And he should be looking for someone first who's connected to what he's doing, not the other way around. Because guess what? Any man that loves you, whether she's doing that or not, will help you do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Men do that.
Right.
It's not the other way around necessarily.
So when you first meet somebody,
you know what I'm saying?
Are you thinking more of what he has to offer you, or what you have to offer him?
No, I know that it's his. I know that and understand that he's the head, which I didn't know before, and that my stuff needs to line up with what he's doing. So my thing is, it's what his purpose is. I need to know what is his purpose.
Yeah, what his purpose is.
In life. So then
also what his purpose is, but that purpose, whatever you've seen or you've witnessed to, has to be something that you own as your own.
Oh yeah. That
like you own as like no one in the world gets it but you.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
And because once a man sees that and he's ready and he's attracted to you, he's gonna buy.
He's gonna
buy fast. And guess what else? Guess what else? Whatever you're doing, he's gonna help you. It doesn't matter what you're doing. He's gonna see. A lot of women get it confused. They think, well, what about me? What about my business? What about no? You find a dude who you attach to the way I described, and once he's in your life, he will help you do anything. Anything.
Yeah.
See, we got it kind of backwards. We got it a little backwards.
And women got it all backwards. And then check it out. There's a woman who's got her own thing going on, like you. She looks for a man who's going to help her. Guess what? She's never going to be happy with him.
Right.
She's never going to be happy.
I agree.
She's not going to respect him. She's never going to be happy. And he'll be killing himself trying to show you he'll be dying trying to make you happy. And you will be dissatisfied and bored. The order's back.
Carl, you just brought up a really good point about respect. How many marriages do you suspect they break up because the woman does not respect her husband?
Marriages
break up.
They don't even have to break up. They can be just miserable. I can tell you, they don't have to even break up. But I know lots of wives. Not now though. I used to, not now.
Well, we don't attract that now.
No, I don't know any. I tell people all the time. No. 5 years ago, I knew a bunch of couples that had this dynamic going on. Just women disrespecting their husbands, just discord and just drama. I don't know any couples like that right now. I don't know any. I'm not saying that out there. I don't know any. But the point I'm making is that the respect part for us is like the love for them is everything. We must be respect. Right. You ain't got to even agree with us. At least not for me. I don't care about it. Just respect me. You disrespect me, I'm not gonna be.
Well, let me add to that. The reason why we don't know any couples like that is because we don't attract that. Because you attract what you are, and see that's what, as a single female, ladies, you have to realize this. You attract what you are, not what you want.
Yeah.
If you are unavailable, meaning you are so tied into your career, you have all these lists of prerequisites and everything that this man has to live up to first. You got all these things that you're looking for without relaxing and just being free and getting to know this person. You are going to forever attract somebody who's unavailable.
Jackie just says, attract what I am. Jackie, what do you mean by that? Maybe Tanya can answer your question.
I just said it.
I'm saying Jackie just asked. I want to see if that.
Yeah, I see her question.
No.
Attract what I am. Yes, you attract what you are. Like I said, you attract what you are, not what you want. Put it to you this way: if you're needy, if you're needy, this man has to, be able to do this for you and that for you or whatever. Like I said, he can't be this, he can't be that. You've got all these lists of rules. You are going to attract what you are. You're going to attract a man who's needy. You're going to attract a man.
There are needy men out there?
Yes. You're going to attract somebody who always needs how do I say, validation?
What validation?
Yeah.
I need validation all the time.
Well, and men need that, period.
All the time.
Men need that.
Oh, so is that unique to you, Carl, or for you're saying all men need some type of validation?
That's everybody. Everybody needs validation, period. But when it comes to being needy, that's different. Needy is a whole step up above validation. Everybody needs to be appreciated and wanted and desired and loved. Everybody needs that kind of validation.
Right.
But if you're so needy, well, I can't step out the door till you tell me how much you appreciate me.
Tell me you love me.
Yeah. All these women, why are you looking at her like that? You're going to be totally insecure. You're going to be jealous. You're going to be, you know what I'm saying? So you have to, first of all, your relationship with yourself is your relationship with God. That's what women of God need to realize. Your relationship with yourself is your relationship with God, because we always separate ourselves from God. Everybody thinks God is so high, sitting on the throne or whatever. Well, that throne better be inside you.
Mm-hmm.
That throne better be inside you, sitting on the throne of your heart, because that is where your voice and your guidance comes from. That is your intuition. Your intuition is just your God. Who else is guiding you?
The Holy Spirit.
That
Holy Spirit.
Intuition, right? So this is the thing. That's why I say every morning, every day, you got to be tuned in, turned in, tapped on. Because if you're not, if you don't have a spiritual practice every morning that you start your day with, there's no telling what you get out here and run into, and you just go crazy, because you have to have that. And I don't care that people do that anywhere. People do that in church, out of church. It doesn't matter. People learn how to connect to God. So here's the thing. There are some men who know that and understand that, but they're not going to tell you that, because until they get to know you. See, a man needs to know that his heart is safe with you before he's going to let that guard down and reveal too much to you.
But you have to also let your guard down too.
Yeah, you have to let your guard down. He's not going to let his guard down until yours is down and your heart is open to him. See, we got it backwards, especially women who are successful in their careers, because you are not a pushover. You are not somebody to be stepped on and walked on if you get to know a man and be vulnerable. See? There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable first.
That's the key right there, being vulnerable. No one wants to be vulnerable.
But you know what though?
But Carl and Tanya, how soon were you vulnerable around each other?
Well, this is gonna shock you.
It was almost immediately.
I'm about to say, you know, I don't know how to not be vulnerable. That's why I used to get hurt so much. It's because I don't know how to not be. I don't know how to. I mean, I put walls up now because I'm married with certain situations, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm not a walls up guy. I'm kind of very transparent. That's my personality. So when I was dating, I just have always been like that. I don't put walls up. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. But that's the best way as a man and as a woman to find out really who you're with is if you can be transparent and easy. That other person may say, like, you are. One girl called me. She said that I was. She said that
you are a stalker.
Yeah, she said I was a stalker, and all I was.
Why?
Because I could tell you so many crazy dating stories.
Because
but that's what I need to see from them. When I see that, oh, I'm a stalker. Okay, hold your breath till I call you again. I'm on to the next. I mean, listen. I mean, the way to find out really where someone else is for you to be vulnerable because see how they respond.
Yeah. That
to me is better than putting the wall up. Because especially if you're a woman, a man is a tear down wall specialist. When he sees that wall is up, he's like, how can I tear that wall down? What will it take? That's what we do. And I tell women this all the time. No one listens to me. But see, the thing about it for us, when you're a vulnerable man, you're an open man. See, women say, I want an open man. I want a man who can tell me about this. Yeah, right. Tell you what, you start telling a woman how you feel and watch her run. It's oh, you gone. Next. Check.
He's a stalker.
He's a stalker.
Truth, so you start being honest about your feelings?
You talk about your feelings. So you know what? I talk about my feelings all the time. And people call me weak. I'm like, I'm probably a strongest person you know. I'm really strong. That's why I can share my feelings. But people got it backwards.
Yeah.
I'm a very strong, confident person. So when you get into a situation in a date and you start talking about things, and they're like, "He said that to me."
Yeah.
I'm scared. He must be crazy. I'm like, yeah, I am crazy. Bye. Next.
And so there's a lot of men.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They disqualify themselves.
Yeah. And there's a lot of men now that I know who are godly men, but they are just like, these women are just crazy. They expect all this stuff and they want me to do this, but they're giving me nothing. He's not talking about your body either. He's simply not being
stuff
open.
And things, materialistic stuff.
No, you're not being open.
What is he talking about?
You're not being open to him. You're not being vulnerable to him. You're not being sweet and kind. You're not just.
You're just taking.
Yeah, you're just taking and taking. Well, you gonna
taking the dates, taking this, taking that.
I know you go, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't, because he should. The thing is, your attitude.
Thankless.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What have you done for me lately? Kind of attitude.
Yeah.
A lot of women.
Well, this is what you said. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm
a queen.
Yeah, I'm a queen.
I just directed a play that dealt with the. And that scene in that play, I loved it because it was perfectly described in terms of how a lot of men see women and how a lot of women see themselves.
Right.
It's like, and there's nothing wrong with seeing yourself as a queen. Don't get me wrong. But you got to act like one, which is benevolent, it's kind, it's deferential. You know, that's what a queen really does. A queen doesn't act like a queen. A queen is a queen because of who she is. You know, and so
do these men tell the women? But do the men, like, if she's an unkind person, then isn't that a sign that she's probably not the right one for him, or no? Or maybe he.
Well, see, a guy it depends on the guy. A guy will switch the gears and say, okay, well, she's not a queen. She thinks she is. I think I'll hit it. I mean, I'm just saying that's how a lot of guys think. A lot of guys will switch gears, and you would become disqualified as a wife, and now she's conquest.
She's not as strong as she thinks she is.
She's not as strong as she. I mean, depends on the guy. That guy is not a cool guy. I'm not trying to say he's a great guy. I'm just simply saying that.
Right, I'm just saying, just being real. Just being real.
Yeah.
So I'm saying.
And if you're like that, the man who is a godly man that respects you, he'll just walk away.
Walk away. Disappear.
You won't hear from him anymore.
And you won't know why.
And you'll be forever single, wondering why.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
you know, we got to go, though. I mean, I
Wow.
could be honest. We have to
Oh, this
go
is
to the
so
show.
good. Okay.
Yeah, we got to
I
go.
We
bring
have
you
to do
guys
it again.
back.
We have to do
Yes,
it
this
again.
is the time. Just all right. Okay,
Well,
I'm so
give us
sorry.
some last minute pearls of wisdom, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I see.
Either one of you.
I see Jackie Shug Milan. She's so funny. I saw her with a picture of her new boo, and I'm so
Okay, Jackie.
I'm so happy for her because she's in my group of ladies when we get together and do some things sometimes.
Oh,
and
you know, Jackie was in my. Oh, that's right. She was in my group for Marriage and the Single Lady.
Yeah.
So y'all know each other.
Yeah. Oh no, I've known Jackie for years from Faithful Central.
Yeah.
And see, Jackie, really, my wife hijacked
She
my
is
friend because
hilarious.
Jackie don't talk to me no more. She talks to her. But yeah, I've known Jackie for years.
And I'm gonna tell you this one thing.
Shug, I'm sorry, Shug. Shug.
Yeah. Ladies need to be with other ladies who are vulnerable and real and not religious.
Yeah.
Because that is some of the worst instruction, the worst guidance that you can get. Because after a while, you go to class after class after class, and you're like, you know what? You don't need that much improvement. Ain't that much improvement needs to be done in the work. Seriously, you have to get to a point where you begin to trust yourself, and you begin to trust yourself to just relax and stop looking, because he's going to find you. And when you are
I agree with that.
When you are at your most relaxed state, not asking questions, not trying to find a godly man, not trying to put the list and check off that list. No, he'll find you when you sitting with your cap on, your sweatsuit, ain't got no makeup on. He's gonna find you probably that way. So you don't put on airs.
Yeah. That's right, Chick. He found you.
That's right. He found you.
Yeah. So and this is my nugget. My nugget is very simple. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And see, you have mostly an audience of women. So let me think. Be kind.
Yeah, be sweet.
Be sweet.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know,
are women really that mean?
Oh boy, my God.
Yes,
and then when you call a woman mean, if you dare say that, then it becomes I'm angry black woman now. Yeah. Oh yeah. What you want, a white girl now? I mean, really?
I know nothing but to be totally honest with women. And I told a girl in the church that she's not approachable. She said, what do you mean? I'm approachable. I said, no, you're not, honey. You hardly ever smile. You're not a type of person. You act like if a man talks to you, he stinks. That's just like and you don't even realize it. She don't even realize it. She's putting him through scrutiny just because he says hello. He's not going to go as far as to try to get to know you and ask you out just to meet him for a cup of coffee, which is the way it starts, because she's not approachable. Right. And she got mad and upset about that. Now, how do you think a man feels?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm real.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. When I met her, and I told the story before, I had no interest in getting married again. You know, I'm a relationship guy, so having a girlfriend might have been okay, but I you just have to understand. This is LA, and this is why I don't understand why women take themselves so seriously anyway in this environment, because it's you guys have to see it from our perspective. Yeah. And Zondra, you're a beautiful woman. You're wonderful. But there's so many beautiful women out there. Mm-hmm. You just have to be you have to be a man to understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't understand why any woman in this market, and I call it a market because I'm a business guy, take themselves this seriously.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
You'd be surprised at how many women, put on a necklace and a nice dress and some tight stuff, and they, oh my God, I almost said it. I am the baddest woman out there. And you do look good.
Wow.
But I guarantee you there's somebody driving up next to you in about 5 minutes that will blow you out the water.
They're going to look better.
So what you got to do is you got to bring something else to the table that makes you special. That's what she did.
And usually it's sweetness and kindness. You ask any man, I don't care how pretty you are. Lord. I don't care how pretty you are or how much money you make. A sweet, kind woman will get the guy every time. And
that's what I think and get the guy for a long period of time. I'm not talking about for a couple of days. I'm talking about forever. So This
Right.
is the thing. This is the, so
Get
this
the
is what I'm
ring.
sharing
The
with
women,
Shane.
my women on here want the ring.
So this is what I'm sharing with you ladies is this, because this is what I experienced. You know, I may not be Denzel Washington, but I can, you know, go out there and pull about two. You know, I can go out to the Trader Joe's and whatever, you know, pull one. I mean, you know what I'm saying? For most men who have any sort of humor or any sort of game about them, and I don't mean game in a negative sense. I just mean the ability to communicate, stand up straight, look you in the eye and tell you a joke or be, you know, amiable. Gosh, it's so easy.
Yeah.
So what is special about you? What are you bringing to the table? Well, obviously, kindness comes from a heart of true godliness, not something that's in the Bible that you've memorized, but something that you have that's imbued in your spirit,
something that you embody.
That God has cleansed all the negativity out of you, and you just can be, and you can be fun.
You gotta relax.
The best way we got time. We ain't got time. But look, I'm
about to bring y'all back.
I had a situation. I'm gonna tell you a good example. I had a situation about a young lady when I was dating. I'll tell you the quick story. So when I was dating, there was this girl that I met. I met her through another mutual friend. And I was supposed to meet her in San Diego. And through a series of events, mainly had to do with money, I could not make it. I had to work. So me and this girl had these great conversations beforehand, and we were getting along really well. There was very clear connection with us, right? So I wasn't clear about something to do with her itinerary. I called her maybe a day later than I should have, but it was definitely 2 days before that I was not supposed to be there. And I told her I couldn't make it, and I was very apologetic, and I was really, really remorseful. This girl unfriended me on Facebook, wouldn't take my phone calls, just got pissed. So when I shared that with her friend who introduced me to her, the friend sided with her friend. I'm thinking to myself, now, I'm not just saying she didn't have a right to be that way, be angry with me, but my point is that, and you may disagree with this, and that's fine. When you show displeasure toward an act by a man in a way that's kind, you know, you're disappointed, yes. But it's kind. And it's like, you know what, I understand. Whether you choose to go on with that person or not, you may not want to date him anymore. This person unfriended me. Just totally just. You see what I'm saying? She could have said, well, I don't
was this and
anymore,
you were dating her?
I'm just saying, the heart of that girl. This was
the woman you were dating?
Huh?
You were dating her, right?
It was at the beginning.
It was in the beginning. She lives in another city.
Oh, yeah.
And we had never met yet. I met her on Facebook, but through another friend who I had known a long time, an old friend of mine. And my point is, and here's the general point that I hope I'm making real clear. She can make the choice to not date me anymore. Okay, she can say I'm disappointed, or even be a little mad about it.
Right.
But the heart that shows that she's evil is the part that says, "I unfriend you and won't take your phone calls anymore, and I'm mad at you." I guarantee you that evil is going to translate to other parts of her life, and there will be other men that will see that same evil and say, "I'm gonna hit it. I'm not gonna bring her in because she's a bunch of humbug." I'm saying that's the kindness, because I'm not saying that she didn't have a right to be mad or disappointed. I'm saying that all of that unfriending, all that stuff, she could have just said, you know what, I think you're a nice guy. I don't want to date you anymore. I'm disappointed. But still been cool about it.
Yeah.
And just switch gears. That's how she is.
Yeah.
That's how she is.
I never had a problem meeting guys. They used to try to, when I realized that he's not what I wanted, oh God, they tried to beat your door down because I was just like I was kind and nice about it, you know. But they're just like, oh man, well, can I get a chance? And no.
And a lot
they won't go away.
And a lot of women want to make this point. They want to be mean because they didn't get what they wanted or what they expected or whatever. Then now they want to go to the mean zone. I'm gonna be mean. I'm gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. You may think you may win the battle, but you lose the war because that is not kindness.
No,
that is not kindness. It doesn't mean you have to accept stuff from people or from men. I'm not saying that. But the way you do it, I'm just saying.
It's not what is the way. I got it.
Women who don't get this.
And she would have done that to another female too.
Oh my
I'm
God.
Sure her
this girl is so.
Exhibited the
I could have never seen that before.
So it's all about who you are.
So I knew. I found out what I didn't know about her too. But the thing about it is that this is somebody who obviously wanted something from me, and she didn't get what she thought she was gonna get, and so totally that was it.
Right.
So I'm going to just X him out. So you have to watch, what is the heart behind that? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm telling the stories, because check your heart.
Right.
Before you say, oh, I'm
Okay.
kind, I'm nice, and then this is how you behave.
Right. A
You
lot of
understand?
women don't even realize that's the way they are.
Oh, there's a lot of them out there like that. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
It
yeah.
shows up in your female relationships as well as male. So yeah, you just have to realize who you
that's
are.
true. It's not just men. That's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Just be kind.
Yes.
My mama used to always say, you can catch people with
Honey,
sugar.
catch more people with honey
Exactly, than you can with
than
vinegar.
with sour
Yeah.
vinegar. Yep.
Okay, Zondra, we got to go.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to wear this.
love
to the premiere,
this
same thing.
counseling session. This was a counseling session. This
Yeah.
was not an interview. This is a straight up counseling session. I'm definitely going to bring you back. So stay tuned. We'll set it up. I love you. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
we
the
love you
information
too.
for these
Thank
ladies.
you. Thank
Okay.
you.
And have fun tonight. Tell Bill Duke I said congratulations.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do. I've already seen the movie, but I haven't seen this the finished product.
I
Okay.
haven't seen it.
Okay, see it. Bye.
Oh, okay. All right. Bye.
See ya.